we have a couple of submissions. The first one is from user Milk Toast Takes, spelled correctly with the QUE.
Yes.
User Milk Toast Takes writes in, I found a ghost in my adult diapers. Thank you for your contribution.
Is there a
to
photo?
Our podcast. Nope. That's
photo
just it.
or GTFO?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Milk Toast Takes. Send us a photo of your dirty diapers full of ghosts. And the second is from Ben from Black Metal Brews, and he writes.
Okay, I know him.
He writes, "Protect Bigfoot at all costs, but no snitching on his whereabouts. You know, trophy hunters will hunt our gentle forest hero. Thank you, Ben. Black Metal Brews on Twitter." And that's the only submissions because there's only 5 people that pay attention to our bullshit.
Oh, there's a lot more that pay attention, but they all just hide in the shadows because you're all a bunch of cowards. Not
cowards.
Thank you for coming into my creepy room because it is literally the filth chamber, and we've all squozen in. Now we all have to take our shirts off and make it like lambda, lambda, lambda. Taekwondo. Yes. Those are the lyrics.
Taekwondo,
which is the black form.
That's the name of your rap album. Taekwondo.
I went to high school with a black gentleman named who was in class with me.
Good black name.
He would be played in the film by Terry Crews, and this was in 9th grade. Okay.
Damn.
And he used to say to me every day in class, this is 100% true. He would turn to me and just go, "Hey boy, psst, hey boy," like yes, suck my dick. What? Suck my dick, boy. No.
Why would I do that?
Yeah, exactly. And he goes, "Suck my dick." I go,
Is this an offer?
I'm not gay. And then he would stop, and then it would repeat the next day. And my friends and I wrote a song about him and everything. Well, I'm gonna have to beep his name out. I had many run-ins with throughout the years, and it was we literally wrote a song about him and stuff. It's called "Sweet Daddy Doodoo," and in the song, I'll play the song if you want to hear. It was one of the Captain Morton songs.
That's my Captain Morton impression.
We were doing his voice in the song. Like there's a breakdown part where we go, "Hey boy, suck my dick." "Suck my dick, motherfucker." And he said the weirdest shit. Like he would, I remember one day in gym class, he said, "Dick my balls, boy." I was like, "What?"
Well, yeah.
Dick my balls, motherfucker.
How do you do that?
I'm not gay.
Dick my balls. Just turn around and be like, "What you balls my dick, motherfucker? Come on now."
Again, played by Terry Crews in the 9th grade. 9th grade, yes. He was held back several times. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut all of this out, beep all of this out, because I don't want sweet Daddy Doodoo coming after me.
You should just get a Facebook message. It's like, hey boy, suck my dick.
Hey boy, dick my balls.
God damn it.
But now he's doing it with the emoji.
Heard the new Feral?
No.
From December 2018. That's how far behind I am.
Well, no, because I'm way behind on but I think my friends in Transcending Obscurity Records might have released that, which is
it's good. I feel like you'd like it
for them. Well, I really like the first one. I might be wrong, but I could swear the first one was mixed by Swano, and I really
something else. I think the band was called Puturian.
Well, hold on. I'm going for the Feral right now. Gee, of course, I just put in the word feral. That's because I'm a fucking idiot.
That's brought you Denver Outdoor Gear Shop.
Great, now the computer knows where I live. That's all I need.
Perfect. Well, it's been watching you jack off for years, so.
How's it looking all the way under here? That's the other thing, is that why does the government have a huge center set up just to watch us all jack off? Like, it just screens after, like in Watchmen, Ozymandias' screens, just a wall of screens of just millions of people jerking off. What are they using that data for?
They're looking for deviancy.
Like, if you make a certain face, that means...
They're looking for how rough you are with your dick. If you punch it...
Well, then I'm in trouble. Because I literally beat it. Like, literally. Like, I'm talking with fists.
Well,
like,
when you get to a certain age, it takes a lot more to turn your crank.
How dare... What are you implying? What does this have to do with age? Are you saying that I'm old?
I'm just saying that your crank needs a little extra spit shine to get going.
My penis is younger than me.
I believe that. It's made out of cells that repeat every 7 years.
So, all right, here we go with the new feral. Well, gee, yeah,
it doesn't sound like anything you'd like.
Well, this is heavier than the first one.
This whole thing's fucking heavy.
The first one, they were flirting with death and roll, which pissed me off a little bit.
They are not doing any of that here. They're gone. They put that behind them. They got their Wolverine blues out of the way early.
Wait a minute. This track in particular sounds a lot like an old Entombed track.
This album, there's some questionable shit going on this album.
What do you mean?
Well, one of the choruses is "Reborn in the morgue," which is a vomitory fucking line. Yeah, one of the and then there's another like kind of egregious thing on here too. I can't remember.
Well, this is a riff right out of, I can't remember which Entombed song. It's off of the EP right before Wolverine Blues, the Hollow Man EP. Maybe it's a song, Hollow Man. But yeah, see, you know what? Here's the thing. This shit is really good, but you know, your boy Crypticus here is graduated, Justin, to further brutality. The shit I listen to now is...
we're going to talk about slam.
I'm not going to talk about... Because I keep telling you it's not slam, it's brutal death metal. Slam is one little corner of it, and that's what the Wiggers listen to. I listen to brutal death metal.
How dare you? You can't say Wigger anymore.
I'm sorry, we grow Americans.
I mean, obviously, good tone. Even, I mean, HM2's Left Hand Wrath, that's always going to sound good, but...
Well, but they at least didn't go with just the fucking default. It's the modern, nice sounding HM2 mixed with other shit and, you know, nice cabinets and stuff.
Fucking, what do you call it? The Left Hand Wrath from Lone Wolf Audio. Shout out to Lone Wolf Audio, sponsor of the podcast.
You have one, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Lone Wolf Audio contacted you because Aquavelva contacted me as a sponsor of the podcast.
We got to get the sponsors out of the way. So Aquavelva, Lone Wolf Audio, Barnabas the Vampire, and Ramsey Campbell are all sponsors.
I wish Ramsey Campbell was sponsoring us, but I have a feeling we should be sponsoring him now. I think horror authors are not the richest folks these days. Yeah, let's see. Aquavelva, which is made by Gillette? Oh, no, I think this is some off. What's the company?
It's from the Aquavelva Corp. Based out of Saskatchewan.
Combi Incorporated, White Plains, New York.
Crombie Incorporated?
Combi, C-O-M-B-E Incorporated.
Zombie Incorporated.
It's this is actually just trioxin.
Perfect. You'll hold your tongue if you like this job, boy. Like this job!
Yeah, Return of the Living Dead actually scared me as a kid. I didn't think it was funny.
I wasn't lucky enough to see it young. I ended up seeing it older because I always kind of like pushed it off thinking it was some sort of knockoff or something, not realizing...
Which it kind of is.
It kind of is, but it's
no copyright, George Romero.
It's its own fun thing, though. And like and then I found out the backstory about that guy owning the right, like stealing the rights of the living dead, like just that phrase.
Well, to be fair, it was legally agreed upon by George Romero. He said, I get the of the dead and you get the Living Dead or something like that.
A long
Yeah.
string of copyright choices by George Romero.
John Russo, yeah, he is kind of just the guy who's lived off of that trademark for his entire life.
That's fine.
Has not contributed much.
That's fine. And Victor Miller just got the rights back to Friday the 13th, which I'm in full support of.
Wait, who's Victor Miller?
The original writer
Of the screenplay?
script. Yeah.
Oh wow, he's so out of it apparently that I never heard his name.
Yeah, no,
so good for him.
He pulled a legal copyright string that exists where it's like after 30 years or something like that, the rights can go back to the original author. And so he tried to pull the rights back, and of course Sean Cunningham and fucking Slasher Inc. were essentially like, no, that won't be happening. Took it to a legal battle, and they took too long to do the legal battle, and I think the rights went back to Victor Miller. He doesn't have the rights to Jason.
So just only Friday the 13th.
Just Friday the 13th.
Oh, but did you hear what they just did with Chucky, which is pretty
a new
amazing?
series on
Yes,
Sci-Fi.
by Don Mancini, the real Chucky, quote unquote.
Yes.
Not the fucking, the one they're trying to do now is Child's Play, because it's the same thing. They have the right to Child's Play, not Chucky. So they're doing a best friends horror movie.
Jesus Christ.
Ashley, is that horror jail worthy? Making a knockoff Chucky movie for the masses, or is that, or where does that sit? Yes,
That gets you in horror jail.
but see, I think it's interesting that now we're going to have an alternate. The show is going to have way more juice than the fucking movie. So
Yeah.
I think Don Mancini won this one, and that's a huge win for gay horror. 'Cause
Yes. Well, I don't know. I didn't quite appreciate the last Chucky.
I think it's irrelevant, but I agree. I'm happy for Chucky, but I agree. I was not happy. I did like the weird gothic one in the mansion, the first comeback one they
Yes,
did.
that one was good. That one was actually quite good.
Yes, and then I guess this last one was the follow-up to that one.
It was
And,
terrible.
Yeah, you guys told me it was fucking like
The one where he just clones himself by touching foreheads. Like, come the fuck on. It's like Friday the 13th, Jason Goes to Hell, where it's like, it's not quite what I'm looking for.
What if they do the Chucky show and it's like Friday the 13th, the series, but of Chucky? It's like, it's about a show. It's a
hosted
show.
by Chucky. He reads
Yeah,
from
but
a
and he's
book.
not in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not in any of the episodes.
I'd accept him as a crypt keeper.
Me too. When that new It came out, even more than the movie, I just like that Pennywise. I don't even necessarily care about the movie. I liked it, but I loved that new Pennywise so much. I just want a weekly show where that Pennywise hosts it like Freddy's Nightmares, and he would just and also be part of the plot, maybe or something. But I love Skarsgård's Pennywise so much.
Skarsgård's Pennywise is pretty good.
Because of the tricks he played on the kids in the movie, it was the first time I'd seen something like that since Freddy. Where it's like, oh, he's literally putting on a show.
He's having fun.
Oh, I'm going to do a dance just to terrify you, then I'm going to, like, I got a whole thing planned just to fuck with you. And
I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also like, I don't know, I'm curious how they're going to do the deadlights and all sorts of other fun stuff.
They already showed the deadlights in the first one a little bit.
I mean, how they going to, you know what I'm talking about, how
Yeah,
they going to do
like
the fucking turtle, like, and shit like that. The turtle's probably not going to be in it.
Ashley's over here. She's already given signs that she's, I don't care about the turtle. I just want Pennywise to be scary. See,
I still think that they need to do my idea where they do a series on Netflix that's just all the dairy interludes from the book, like as a half hour, like boom, boom, boom.
You know what?
That'd be scary as shit.
Yes, it should just be a rule actually that all Stephen King shit has to be a episode show on big budget. Like on Netflix or something. Like they should do The Stand that way. They should do It that way. They should do them all that way.
Well, imagine this. They do a double feature of It 2017, It 2019, and in the middle they do all the dairy interludes as like a intermission, like half hour each, 15 minutes each. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a half hour each. It could be as simple as like, hey, grab 5 horror directors that maybe aren't doing anything or brand new and like have potential and just be like, here's your script. These page 230 to 270 in It. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, they could, treat them in all sorts of different ways, film them in all sorts of different ways.
I started to like those more than the actual like Pennywise stuff in the book.
I'm the opposite. Yeah, so you're.
I mean, it was still Pennywise, but like him fucking with the kids was cool. But like the history of him fucking with the entire town was interesting to me, and like different stories that they could tell that way are shit that I really liked.
Well, they already said that. I guess the second movie's going to open with the whole thing where the black spot gets burnt down by the KKK people.
All right.
That's supposedly the cold open.
I was disappointed that they didn't put that in the last one. So
this one, from what I'm understanding, this one's going to have a lot more of the what you're talking about, the supplemental shit kind of sprinkled through it, including a lot of flashback because they had to get all the kids back.
Yeah.
But holy fuck, man, everybody they cast is amazing.
Yeah,
like,
those
it's
kids are good.
exactly well, I'm talking about the adults.
Oh, the adults are
the
good
adults
too?
are exact duplicates of the kids. Every actor they got is the perfect person. Like, people I never would have even thought of. It's like, that's exactly that kid. They found it.
Yeah.
Someone that looks exactly like that kid.
They got Barry in it, right?
Yes,
What's his
that's
name?
the Bill
Bill.
Hader, who I love. I love him so much.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I was actually, before you guys showed up, I was just watching Stefan on YouTube, and it's fucking hilarious. Did you see Bill Hader doing Vincent Price when he,
Yes.
when he did Vincent Price's Halloween special?
Thank you, and welcome to my Halloween special. Tonight, prepare yourself for a night of spooks and scares, as we have invited over some of our most famous friends for some tricks and also some treats. They've all agreed to wear costumes, so see if you could recognize them. Let's see who's at the door. I hope it's not a pirate and a spooky spaceman.
Let me pack this pipe. All right, here now. Pat from Cannibal Corpse lost his goddamn mind. Your thought. And there we have a segue, folks. Here we go.
I read the description of all the stuff they pulled out of his fucking house, and I really am starting to think I'm the only motherfucker that doesn't own a human skull. Like, everyone I knew in California had a human skull. They pulled out several from his house, and
Are these
all I could
medical
think was,
grade, or what's the deal?
they're human.
Okay, enough said.
They're human. Most of them were not stolen from a graveyard, as far as the owners I knew. You could go into certain weird, like, oddity shops in LA, and they would have them. And some of them would be from cadavers, some would be from surreptitious provenance. I'm not sure where
How
you
much
actually get that.
does one of those run?
Quite a bit.
I was gonna say.
Several $100s.
Okay,
But it was
I would have
something.
expected thousands.
It's still a goal of mine to obtain a human skull one way or another. Many, hopefully.
Well, I can tell you the cheapest way to get one.
Yes, you take one. You just Shanghai someone and
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah,
I've been playing enough of the cowboy game. I know how to do
that's right.
a good Shanghai.
Yeah, that game. Is that teaching people good things or bad things? That new cowboy game?
Well, it depends. The whole, spoiler alert for Red Dead Redemption, the entire story arc is a redemption story. So you start as a bad guy who basically sees the error of his ways, but there's nothing in particular telling you to be one way or the other. It's more like I was playing it as a really bad dude for a while. I was just having a great time being a horrible outlaw, and I ended up I would just roll up on people's camps and shoot them and steal their shit, like, without even giving them a chance to tell me anything. And one time
I think that's a natural impulse for most people.
well, then
At least at first.
the game taught me not to do that by basically having one of the guys have a dog, and then when I killed him, the dog had no master.
This is why you need to read Blood Meridian, because that game is
Yes, that's
Blood Meridian.
That's why I wanted to read it.
Yeah,
Like, that's the
for
thing
sure.
that turned me onto it. Is that I was like, there has to be some awesome cowboy literature.
Cannibal Corpse could write an album
They could.
about Cormac McCarthy's Blood Meridian,
that'd be
the
sick.
most brutal novel I've ever read in my entire life. We're now watching the behind the scenes of Reanimator 2.
We're seeing how they installed the veins into the titties.
They're showing the making of the breasts of the bride of Reanimator, and it's very impressive. Yeah. Look at Screaming Mad George here with his Bauhaus shirt.
Screaming Mad George.
Yes, speaking of special effects gods, we're watching
Yes.
Screaming Mad George right now working on special effects for Bride of Reanimator, and he's wearing a Bauhaus shirt.
He's currently making a head come out of some butt cheeks.
Yeah, this would be... I bet you these are some leftovers from Society.
Oh,
some chunks they had laying around.
It definitely looks like that.
This is... I remember this. This is a creature from Herbert West's failed Experiments Crypt, which I thought was the coolest idea. That's actually in the Herbert West original stories. But Screaming Mad George was always one of the special effects guys I most wanted to hang out with.
Yeah.
As a kid reading Fangoria, he always looked like the coolest guy.
Well, I mean, he called himself Screaming Mad. Like, he was definitely in it to win it.
Well, he claimed, and you would think, you know, he must be some crazy metalhead or something. He said, well, he was a fan of Screaming Jay Hawkins, and so he chose Screaming Mad George.
God, I want to live in one of these workshops.
Well, that was my dream as a kid, and
it's still my dream.
Now looking back on it, I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm thinking there might be at some point in this era of bespoke hipstery bullshit. I think there's going to be a renaissance of this kind of stuff. Handmade shit is cool again. I think, you know, that they've already had, what was that one they tried to do that was like a Thing kind of movie that they tried to do all completely practical?
Wasn't that
Harbinger Down? Harbinger Down.
I was going to say Almost Human was like that too.
Did you see Harbinger Down?
No, I didn't see Harbinger Down. Was it good?
Sadly, it was not very good. But that was the one that it was done by actual effects dudes that worked on the thing and stuff, and they tried to just do it all natural, and it came. They actually came out with a documentary after they did it and said, "Yeah, we regretted that. It was too hard. It was too hard." And
I think you literally need to do practical effects well. You need someone who thinks like Botin or Savini, so that. I mean, because they think about all of the shots involved, whereas it seems like...
Yeah, it's not... you can't hand it off to someone else to shoot it.
Yeah.
It just will not work out.
Yeah, like... Or Savini's got to be on set to really, like, tell you why there's 7 props for this shot instead of 1, you know? Like, I feel like a lot of people will do that, where it's like the scene calls for this puppet, and they'll make a singular puppet and try to make it work in all the setups. Whereas Savini wants to read the script, he wants to talk to the director of photography and tell him like exactly like, hey, this setup is going to need this, you're going to have this, and it's going to make the whole thing much more impressive. Like it's going to sell the magic trick better if you do it this way.
Yeah, you know, what's great is that Savini has come out enough in different interviews and shit and said, I did take part in this movie, I did not take part in this movie. So I have seen scenes that he did and scenes that he did the effects for that he did not get control of the shots.
Yeah.
Such a fucking difference.
Big difference.
Such a difference. And he's disowned a couple of movies, even though they have amazing, like there's this one called Nightmares in a Damaged Brain, which is a fucking horrific slasher movie. It's like one of the most bloody, horrific, nasty things I've ever seen. And it's all his effects, and he disowns it, took his name off it because they shot it their way. And it still looks amazing.
Yeah.
But it's not up to his standards. So he said, nope, sorry. Not.
That makes sense. I mean, I used to read his books as a kid. He used to have those special effects makeup books, like 1 through 4.
Grand Illusion?
Grand Illusions, yeah.
I've never seen those. I'd love to see one sometime.
No, I don't have them anymore.
Oh, you don't?
It's a great regret that I don't have them
I'm
anymore.
sure you could probably get one.
I think so. I might track them down again. But like the big takeaway I got from that, other than like a lot of cool, interesting like tricks, was that the most important thing was to think about how the shots are going to work. Like his whole thing was you can't just make a puppet and hope that it's going to look cool, or you can't just make one type. Like you know, he talks about how all of his kills have like 7 different weapons, because you got to have the shiny one, you got to have the dull one, you got to have the rubber one, like for the actor to run with. And he was so serious that like he wouldn't even want the actor to run with a real knife. Like he'd want to make a realistic looking rubber knife that they can run with, because he's so concerned with safety. He's like, you have your real knife, and that's literally only for one shot. It's like to establish that it can do damage. So like if it's a knife, it scrapes along a wall and it pulls paint off. Or he stabs it into something first, you know. Or
like there's you're an expert on the Friday movies. Like there's like one where like Jason swings a machete, misses a girl, and like hits the door frame or something. You see it splinter, and then in the next shot he stabs her or something.
He does that a lot with axes.
So you get the impact first.
Exactly. Like he's always saying you got to at least show the audience the weapon, and it's got to be the real one. Like it can't be You can't and that's the first thing they need to see. They need to see something to establish that it's an implement of destruction and it's real.
Literally like the Prestige.
Yes,
this
exactly.
Is the Prestige. This is the Turn.
Yes. The turn is when you switch weapons, essentially, and that's going to be like whacking someone in the head with the rubber one, so the actor can whack as hard as he wants and cause no damage, and then they'll cut from that whack to the final one, which is like the new prosthetic with the thing in it and the blood gushing.
All right, so since we're talking Savini here, what's your top Savini hits? Because I think we each have the ones that really left the mark in us as kids. What was your Savini scenes?
A big one for me was the machete head chop in Dawn of the Dead. That's fucking amazing.
Which one?
Where it actually goes cross-face and you see some separation.
And then
shit.
they like step on the guy and like pull the machete out. Right?
Yes.
When the bikers do it.
Yes.
Oh, I think Savini is the biker that does that, right? Okay, I got you. Well, that's a very iconic one.
Yes, that one in particular.
And it's very simple. Yeah,
yes.
It's very simple.
But again, it's the whole we obviously know that it's a machete with a facial like profile cut out of it and glued to the face. Like there's the scene where he literally pulls it out of the guy, and that's the thing that establishes it as real. The other one was really big for me was Kevin Bacon's death in the first one.
Big one. Yeah.
The setup that he made didn't look good enough. It didn't have enough power behind it because the tubing was too long. So it just kind of oozed out. So what they did is they filled during the scene, because it was an expensive scene to do, and it was you literally had to clean up the entire set if you wanted to do it again. To save the shot, Savini literally filled his mouth with blood, grabbed the tube, pulled it off of the thing that it was squirting out of, and blew it himself. And that's why it has that awesome like spurting action to it, is because mid-shot, he's looking at it, he's not happy with it. He knew that it wasn't, like he had a feeling it wasn't going to be as great, so he just literally grabs it with a mouthful of blood and does it with his own mouth.
That is such a creepy, disturbing idea for a kill.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre that it's an arrow.
Yes.
So just random and bizarre. Like an arrow that's being rotated, and the fact that
The rotation.
Yes. It's like, oh, Jason's an artist.
Yeah. He wants to make sure that it goes in.
But the
Prowler has some good stuff in it. The Prowler is amazing. And that was like, he's such a young guy in that movie too. It was like, and then Day of the Dead, obviously my favorite, like, this might have been what sold him as a god to me, but was what's his name? Choke on it! That fucking guy. That death. That death was amazing.
I think that's mine because that shocked me so much, and it's so like the anatomy that is evident there. You see that entire guy's body come apart, and it looks like it's just like there's entire.
It feels like you could go like there's spleen, there's liver, there's gallbladder,
like, and when you see the actual way they put it together, it's kind of crappy. Like from different angles, it looks really terrible. But it is so effective in the movie. It's so disturbing. Yeah, I find that one of the most. Yeah, when they pull his legs away, entire segments of completed organs unravel like a real. I don't know how they packed that all in there. So it's an amazing thing. Yeah.
Well, and then the fact that like when you read the behind the scenes on that, and you find out that those were actual pig intestines.
Yeah, they were like rotting, right? Like because they making people sick
because they had been stored in a special like a tiny refrigerator, right? Like one of those little refrigerators that you'd have in a dorm room, or if you're a lazy man in your man cave or whatever. Like they kept them specifically in one of those, but throughout the course of shooting, they had been there for weeks, but they were in the fridge, so they're like, they'll be fine. They're stored, they're cool. Someone decided to unplug it, and it just sat there, and they rotted, essentially.
How is this the same story on every classic horror movie? We had guts, and they all went bad. Like, every time. Like, they all went bad, and we were all sick.
I think the guts are hard to come by, and people don't think about them. And I think that on a movie set, the effects people don't get the respect that you think they would. So, there's a bunch of union guys going, fuck the effects, Nancy's. I need to cool down my egg salad.
Yeah, I always respect when they use real guts.
Yes.
Because when they use the fake guts, it's very obvious.
The rubber ones that hold their shape.
That's exactly what that hold their shape.
Yeah. I'm a big, like, Day of the Dead even ruined me because I remember I just bought it because it looked cool. Like, I was super young and didn't really understand it, but it was like one of the first DVDs I bought because it was a cool package and it was zombies. And I was like, it's kind of related to Night of the Living Dead. I'll give it a shot. I remember it ruined me on a bunch of other zombie movies because of just the way that, like, every bite has a big mouthful of, like, liquid latex and they're just pulling it and just fucking, you can literally see skin snapping and veins popping as he's pulling, like, you didn't see that in anything. Everything else was just a blood capsule in someone's mouth, and they'd bite you on the neck like a vampire, and it dripped down, and, you know, they'd pantomime eating you. But that one, he was like, no, there's a bite plate here. It's underneath the bite. So as the zombie actor could bite, he's like, don't worry about it. There's metal there. You're going to hurt yourself more than you're going to hurt the other guy. So just bite into it and pull it out.
Yeah, and stuff's going to stretch, and it's going to be different color. Yeah,
yes.
It was that one blows me away because it was also the first one where the zombies looked amazing. And this one was completely different. You know, before they were just like
gray.
Yeah, gray or kind of bluish.
Yeah.
In Dawn of the Dead. But yeah, those. That's why I think.
Well, I think that he saw Dawn of the Dead and he was like, I could do better. Like, I think he's like, I can do better. And
there were zombies that were puppets.
Yes, like Dr. Tongue.
Yeah, exactly. The zombie that's on the table that rolls over that, like, you know, half of him's like, you know, kind of a puppet or something. I love all that stuff. And I feel all of The Walking Dead is completely a ripoff of Day of the Dead. Like the theme, the military stuff, the survival, the people not getting along, the way the zombies look. I feel it's all a ripoff of that.
Snack Pliskin, do you have any paranormal stories that you'd be willing to share?
I've got a few spooky stories. I'm gonna say right here, though, I don't actually believe in ghosts, but I've had plenty of spooky things happen that make me wish that I believed in ghosts. One of my earlier spooky encounters happened when I was fairly young, elementary school, probably 3rd or 4th grade. I was in the Girl Scouts out in California, and one of the big trips that we would do every year was to this camp called Camp Bothine, and it was an old abandoned hospital.
Oh my God,
that we would all camp in, and
holy shit.
Yeah, so it's
Silent
like
Hill.
Very decrepit, like you slept on the same cots that they used for the hospital kind of shit. So, all of the girls, we slept upstairs on like the patient level, basically, in the cots that they used, and all of the chaperones slept in the almost like nurse offices downstairs. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the girls would always say, oh, I saw a face in the mirror, which is pretty typical. But one morning when we woke up, one of the parent chaperones scolded us for running up and down the halls at night, which none of us were doing.
I love it.
So that's just one of the few things that just really solidified my love for the spooky and the paranormal.
I've put myself in a bunch of silly white person scenarios where I'm looking for ghosts, and I've just never come up lucky on that end.
Nothing weird happened to you?
No, nothing. No, there's been a lot of like stuff that looks creepy on paper, but when you're there, there's nothing.
That's what I have. See, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not, you know what it is? And okay, I am putting this on the goddamn table because I'm sick of these, oh, everything's a ghost. Everything's a goddamn ghost. My burden of proof is higher. If the cat farts, it's a ghost.
Yeah.
I blame it on these James Wan movies and the Japanese horror movies.
Yeah. And all of them have that special equipment that it only does one job, which is finding ghosts, and you buy it from a guy that's selling you the ghost thing, where it's like, if you were a fucking scientist, you'd use a multimeter, or you'd use something that can be used to test many different types of things, and not just it's an EVP recorder, and it's specially set up to be in tune with ghosts.
Ghost hunters, have any of them alluded to the fact that they have to mark all of their farts at night for their audio? That's a genuine question.
Oh, right. They never mention the farts, is what you're saying.
Well, I'm just genuinely curious if you're trying to collect an EVP from an environment somewhere, when they have to record that they have farted. at night because they're there for like 12 hours.
That is a great question.
They go, edit point. Bill farted.
They all turn off all of the equipment, power everything down, fart, then go, okay, and everything back up. And they do that 5 times per night.
They all fart at once, too. And it's actually the creepiest thing of the entire operation.
And here's the thing, yeah, because ghost hunters, that's some big fellas. Big fellas, big ladies.
Yeah, it's real attractive people interested in catching ghosts.
Not only the farts, but also the crinkles of the Cheetos bags. They have to adjust their filters for.
It's like what is it? Bigfoot hunters are just ugly people going out in the woods to eat and fuck. Like that's a big part of it. Is that like,
and that's proof he doesn't exist because if Sasquatch existed, he'd join them.
Yes, he'd look at them and go, "These are my people."
Yes, he would come out and lead them. Yes, so that's proof, people. I'm sorry.
It's no coincidence that they look like Squatches. And we were watching one where the guy was like, "Bigfoot really likes donuts," and he brought
just like you,
brought a fucking case of donuts, and over the evening he ate them all. And I was like, "You just got donuts and took them in the woods. Like you could just go in the woods, man. You don't have to pretend that you're hunting a mythical creature."
Yeah, you know what? Those people more and more look like Sasquatch themselves. Just drop the Sasquatch part. Make it a lifestyle.
I've got no room to talk, but I have made it a lifestyle. I have a very Sasquatchian lifestyle.
Well, okay.
I eat grubs. I dig in the dirt. And I prefer to be naked when I'm on my own.
And it doesn't matter because of all the hair.
That's right. I'm like the Shel Silverstein drawing of the guy with the hair all over.
Well, look at our lifestyles. I mean, we're horror people. So I don't want to hear any of these fucking normies coming to me about how they know what ghosts are and I don't. Like, the TV came on. Ooh, like, yeah, well, that's a message. What does that message mean? And then other things like ghosts wearing fucking pants and shoes in photos with a hat on, and he's got a bicycle. Is the bicycle a ghost too? Like, oh look, that ghost has a dog and a leash. The leash is a ghost, and the leash is transparent. Like, what is happening? And like, oh, it's a 1920s ghost, and he's riding a big bicycle. Like, what? Fuck you. Why would they have ghost clothes? Okay,
To hide their modesty.
to hide their ghost penises.
Those cocks are horrifying.
So I imagine. So yeah, I can think more of a ghost as something that projects itself into your head.
I think that the biggest problem we have in the pizza household is that we come off too aggressive to potential ghosts. I know I've said this in the past, but if there are any ghosts out there listening, our home is your home, and we have a dog that would love for you to just roll a ball down a hallway for hours. Please.
Suck my dick. Dick my balls, boy. Say, boy, dick my balls. I say, boy, dick my balls. Boy, fuck you. Suck my dick, motherfucker. Give me your that's inside of me. What's the fucking creepy inside of me? This the breakdown. You know the drill. Inside of me. Once put a 2 feet inside of me. Come again.
There I experienced sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is not a joke. And I don't have to take it. Just watch Disclosure. You'll understand.
Boy, that's from Java. Dick my balls, boy. Hey, boy. Dick my balls. Fuck you, boy. I ain't gay.